Hello everyone, minasan konnichiwa. This is WabiMoji and my name is Martin. I'm an 8th Dan certified Japanese calligraphy teacher. And actually I took the 8th Dan certificate last year. This is the highest level in Japanese calligraphy. And recently I also thought to share some of my experiences and show you more about what this world of Japanese calligraphy is. If you want to know more about me, you can check out this introduction. This video is actually one in a collection of videos trying to explain how to write hiragana correctly. Whether you are here trying to learn more about Japanese calligraphy because you're interested in this field, or maybe you just started your journey with the Japanese language and you're writing hiragana for the first time, or maybe you are already a speaker of Japanese and maybe a researcher, or you're reading even books in Japanese and you can write and read and write the hiragana alphabet, but you never knew how to write it correctly, tidy, then this is the place for you, I think. And in this video, actually, we will check another 5 letters in the hiragana alphabet, which are ta, chi, tsu, te, to. If you're interested in other letters of the hiragana alphabet, you can check out the collection here. Otherwise, let's dive into it. Like in the previous videos, we have 3 parts, one of explanations, one of common mistakes, and another few minutes of practice for each letter. So let's see.
Okay, so let's have a look at the first letter ta in this new set of letters. I will write it first. Okay, so this is ta. Let me explain each line. So we will start here very close to this horizontal middle line here, let's say somewhere. Okay, make sure you leave enough space towards the left side. Okay, and the first line is straight. Okay, it's straight and oblique, and we end up here very close after the vertical middle line. Okay, then we find a spot here on the left side. Okay, a bit upper compared to this point, right? So here somewhere, and we go down with another straight but oblique line, and this one is quite long, right? And then we start here in this corner, the next part, right? And we go up, and then we imagine we have to come here and do the last part. And this one resembles the letter ko. Okay, so it's a kind of a ko, but a bit different. So again, this one goes up the way, right? And it's straight, right? Make sure you find the point here on the left side. Okay, leave enough space here. Okay, but this one should be at a higher position than this one, and go down with a straight line. Okay, it's straight but it's oblique, so it's not a vertical line, it's an oblique line. Make sure you leave enough space here at the end as well, right? And the next part, well, you have to find this corner here. I think this is the best way to imagine that you have to start here in this corner. Okay, this is how you find in the easiest way the proper balance. Okay, and this one it's curved but it's up the way, and then you end up with the hook here. And of course you have to imagine that this one continues like this, and then you start touching the paper here firmly, and first of all you imagine you want to go down, but immediately continue to go right actually, and stop here a bit farther than this point, right? Just 1 or 2 millimeters farther. This time I will explain the positions. Okay, so let's see, up and down, and here in this corner, up and down, right, and like this. Okay, so make sure you leave here just a little bit of space, right? And you need to have here pretty much the same space as here, right? Maybe I wrote it a bit too much to the right, but this space here should be pretty much the same as this one. And here stop immediately, right? Stop immediately after the vertical line. Do not go too far with this one, and make sure then that this one is at a higher position than this one, right? And this space here is pretty much the same with this one here. These two lines are oblique, but they cross each other somewhere in the center of this one, right? So what you have here is pretty much of the same length of what you have here, let's say. And make sure, well, of course, if you write here in this position, this line, then what you get here should be the half of what you have here on this side. So this is the double, right? So if this is like, let's say 1x, this is the double length of it, right? So this is 2x, let's say. Okay, and as I told you, find this corner here and start here. This is maybe the easiest way to understand the position of this part. Okay, and this looks like a call letter, but the difference is that this one goes up the way. If you remember, at call we start here and we end up here, so it's going down. This one goes up, right? Goes up. And because of this, right, because we go up with this one, we finally manage to secure here a nice space. Okay, if you go down with this one, then you cannot create this space. And then once you finish this letter, make sure you start, of course, at the lower position here, but this one is not here very close to this vertical line is. So let's say we have this line here. This one is immediately after, on the right side of it. Okay, and of course it goes down a little bit and then right, which also helps creating this space, right? And as I told you, make sure you end this line a bit farther than the previous one, right? So it's something like this. Okay, and here, okay, so this one, as you can see, this one is very close to this line. Okay, even if it touches it on the same level, is not a problem, I would say. Now let's have a look at a few common mistakes. So this is something that you might do when you write for the first time ta. You might write something like this. First of all, if we look at these two lines, right? Let's start with the first one. This one is not on a horizontal line. It should be oblique, right? And of course the positioning is not here in the center, it's on the right side. So make sure that this part, okay, these two lines are here on the on the left side, right? And this part is on the right side. Okay, so we start here, and this is not horizontal, it's oblique, and this one should start here and go like this, right? Something like this. So make sure, okay, this is oblique and this one is on the left side. Let's see the next part. So regarding this one here, well, I will write it. Let's see, we wrote this one correctly. Okay, something like this. But then we did this kind of thing. And the first problem regarding this one is that it's too close to this T letter. Okay, this, let's say this is a kind of a T. Well, this one, it's too close to this one. It shouldn't be under it. Okay, it shouldn't be under it. It should be to outside of it, to the right. And for this, you find this corner, right, and draw this one. There's a short line, and the next one a bit longer. So as you can see, this is the position, is not here under the T. And another problem related to this thing that looks like ko is, well, if you write it like ko and then maybe do something like this, well, it's not very nice. Okay, first of all, so you need to create this space here, as I told you. So first of all, you have to write this one up the way, and then imagine you come here, and this one is down the way like this, and it's a bit longer than this one, right? Okay, so make sure it's not like ko. It looks like ko, but the space here is created in a little bit of a different way, I would say. Now let's practice together. Remember to enjoy this time, relax and enjoy it for a few minutes. Let's move now to the next letter, Chi. Okay, so this is Chi. Let me explain. So the first line is a straight line but oblique. We start here pretty much in the same position as in the case of ta, but this line is longer than the first line of ta. So let's say we start here and we don't stop here, we continue for a bit more, okay. And of course this angle, okay, is bigger than in the case of ta, so is not, this line is not that, doesn't go that steep as the first line of ta. Then we find here a spot. This is pretty much the same spot as in the case of ta, and we go down again with a straight line like in the case of ta, but we stop here not very far from this horizontal line. Okay, so we don't go up until this point, we stop here, and then we make this circle, right? And for this circle we imagine we have to go up, right? And like we want to touch this point. Okay, we go up for a while, and when we reach the same level with this point here, we finally go down like this with the curve and leave slowly the paper. And let's see again, this one is straight and a bit longer than the first line of ta, okay. And then we reach here a higher position than this one, okay, but not very far from this vertical line. And this one is again, well, a straight line, but we don't go until this point, we stop here. Okay, we can have a break here, right, like this, and prepare for the next part, which is rather difficult. Okay, let's stop here, and you imagine you go up, right, with a straight. This is almost straight, actually. It's okay if you think it's straight, and you imagine you want to reach this point, or when you feel that you're close to this line here, you finally start to make this round part, okay, and keep going, and finally leave softly, slowly the paper. Do not like run away, okay, do not run away, stay with it. And let's see how we balance it now. Okay, so again we start here somewhere, and up and down and up and down. Okay, so we leave here a little bit of space, and this one should be long enough, right? Do not stop here, make it a bit longer. A little bit of space here and a little bit of space here as well. This one is pretty much the same with this one here. And because this line is rather long and we start with this one on the left side, okay, this should be shorter, right, than this one. Is almost maybe the half of it, right? So anyway, it's shorter, right? And these two parts here are of the same size, or sometimes this one it's a bit longer than this one, okay, right? And then we need to create this nice space here inside, and for this, as I told you, imagine you have to reach this point here, this line, so keep going almost straight up the way, and finally when you felt you are here close to this vertical line, then start to go down like this, okay. And of course you need to leave a little bit of space here as well. The idea is like you imagine you have to reach this point, but you go away I mean, you lift your paper on the way. So actually, if you continue this line, it shouldn't touch it. You should go this way, right? And well, it's very difficult in this case to find a point of reference, let's say, for taking to or getting the balance of all letter. So one thing that you have to think about, and it might help you, is that well, what you have. So this is very, how should I say, has a lot of weight, right, on it, this part. So the idea is that this part here should be of the pretty much the same length with this one here. Okay, in this case maybe I have too much on this side, but well, if you imagine that this oval here is half of it on this side and half of it on this side, it might help you, I think. And now let's have a look at a few common mistakes. So what you might see very often is something like this, right? Maybe first of all, the first line is not an horizontal line, it's oblique, and it's rather long line, something like this. So oblique, it's straight, but it's oblique and it's long. Okay, then let's say that we managed to write this one correctly, and then we did this kind of thing. Well, first of all, this is not straight. I mean, it's straight, but it's not vertical, and it shouldn't be short like this. So it's a bit longer, and even this one is too short. So first of all, make sure you make it oblique, right? So you go this way and stop here. Okay, stop anyway farther than this horizontal line. So not here, but keep going a bit more. So let's say if this is the center of this square, stop here on the right side of it, and maybe a bit of a higher position right in the center, so here somewhere. Let's see the last thing. Well, it's regarding this part. You might see people writing it in various way. Well, sometimes where you might see something like this. So let's say we did this one correctly, and then maybe we wrote this one also correctly, but then you will see something like this. Okay. One important thing related to this part, well, it should, I mean, you don't have to run away, you don't have to finish it very fast, right? So be patient, okay? Be patient with it, take care of it, and imagine that you want to go up and reach this point, and you go down, and from this point, do not do this, right? Do not do this with your wrist. Okay, do not do this with your wrist. Keep your wrist straight. Okay, so do not do this, right? Keep your wrist straight and keep with it, right? So straight, and we keep the wrist in the same position, and we're patient, and we go down, but we keep this wrist in the same position, and finally leave, but not in a haste. We keep, and then slowly lift it. Now let's enjoy the practice. Now let's have a look at the third letter, tsu. Okay, let's say something like this. And let me explain the rules first. So we start here on a rather low position, and here in the close to the the left side, and we go almost straight up the way like this, and finally we start to go down and end up with a kind of a hook, but leave slowly the paper like this. So let's see, first of all, this line. Okay, so we start here. We need a little bit of space here, maybe a bit more than in the case of ta and chi, and this is maybe a bit closer to the vertical left side than in the case of the previous two letters. And we have to imagine, well, I enter usually like this the paper, but even if you go straight away is not a problem. And then we kind of think we're making a straight line, but because before reaching this point here we start going down, well, it looks a little bit curved, and we keep making this one large enough. Okay, do not run away. Okay, stay on the paper, right? Be patient and keep going down, right? Usually you have to, from this point, you have to imagine like you want to reach this point, right, this corner here, but because it goes this way, right, it will kind of, if we continue it, it will probably reach here the middle of this. I will write it once again, right? So E, let's say we have something like this. And again, one idea is to think or to find the center of each square. So let's say this is a big square, we have one, a little one here, and let's say this is the center. As you can see, it's lower than the center, okay? And it's on the left side. This is the starting point here. And what we have here, this distance is the same with this distance. Okay, and as I said, we're going up the way, and then we think of this center. Okay, so we kind of think we want to reach this center, but before reaching it we start to go down, but we don't go down abruptly like this. We want to make a nice curve line here. Okay, so as you can see, we manage in this way to create a nice big space here. Okay, so this is because this one goes a bit up, and because here we're not going like this, we keep going and going until we reach this point, and then finally start descending slowly, right? So this way we manage to create this big round space here inside. And as you can see, this letter is kind of focused, centered around the middle line, and but we have a lot of space at the bottom and at the top as well, right? Okay, so it's a lot of space here and here. So let's have a look at the common mistakes. So one thing is, well, people might write this something like this, Okay, and first of all, this is too small, and it's too small because this line is not long enough, right? So make sure you start here quite far, rather close to this side, and keep going up with this line, and then go like this. So make sure this one is long, right? It's a long line, right? First of all, so this will make your letter big enough, right? And then another thing, well, let's say you manage to do this one correctly like this, and then you are not patient enough and you want to finish it quickly and do something like this. Well, this is, of course, doesn't look very nice. We don't have this nice space here. So here, once, okay, you decided, well, this is the center, so you decided to go down. Do not run away, right? Do not run away. Be patient, stay with it, right? Stay with it, stay with it, and keep going and keep going, and right, and imagine you want to go here, but because we want to continue this curve in the same way, it goes here and here. Finally you lift it right slowly from the paper, right? So do not run away, stay with it, stay with the line, right? And another thing also, on the contrary, some people might make this one, okay, not like a an angle, but on the contrary, like a circle. So might think that this is something like this. Well, it's not a circle. This is not a circle. And first of all, this one goes almost straight up the way, and here is not something like this. Okay, do not do something like this with your wrist. Continue to keep the wrist in the same position and move all your body right down the way like this. Okay, so do not make a circle here, make a nice big curved line. Let's now enjoy the practice together for a few moments. The next letter is T. Okay, so it looks something like this. Let me explain each part. So we'll start here on very close to, well, not that close, but close enough to the left side, and let's say on this middle line here of this square, so here somewhere, and we go up with a straight line and a bit oblique, right? So it starts at a higher position than any of the previous letters, ta, chi, tsu, and it's long enough, right? And it goes a bit farther than the, well, let's say the middle line here of this square, so it should be long enough, and then it goes a bit back on the same line, right? It touches this center and continues this round circle and stops here somewhere. Again, let's say this is the center here. We will start a bit to the left. Okay, enter the paper like this. Well, this is not compulsory, you can just start right away. And this is straight but oblique. You can stop here, right, for a moment. You can even lift your pen, it's not a problem. Then go back. And here, as in the case of so, just go for maybe 1 millimeter back on the same line. If you remember at so we went back for even 2 millimeters. It is not the case, but still imagine that you have to go back, right? And then this is a nice curved line that looks like a half of a circle, like so. And so this is rather an exception in hiragana. Is the case where we almost have a kind of a circle here, perfect circle. So it's not just something like this, like an oval, it's a circle, right? It's like a circle. And we stop here firmly before reaching this vertical line. Okay, so let's see once again and how we balance this letter. Okay, I will write it again first. So 1 and 2, something like this, let's say. And again, well, what we have here is just a little smaller than what we have here. Okay, so if we consider this is the center of this square, this is maybe on the same level but a bit to the left, right? It's a bit to the left. Okay, bit to the left, and it goes up. And if this is the center here, this point, it's a bit at of a upper level, and okay, and it crosses this vertical plane here, right? And then we need to make this nice space here, which means well, let's think this is the center here, and maybe this is the center here of this square. And if we consider it symmetrically, right, like this, we basically have to think we want to reach a symmetrical point here. So this will become a half, almost half of a circle, right? Like this. This is again one of the few cases in hiragana where you have a circle. And well, if you want to, you can imagine it's something like this, maybe, right? One of the rare cases when we have something like this. And for this you have to touch here this center. Okay, so you touch it and then you stop before reaching this point, right? So you stop here on the way, which actually creates, right, another, let's say we have this vertical line. What you have to think is that the distance between this plane and this one is the same with the distance between this one and this one. Okay, so this is the correct way to think about it. And if you think in this way, you will manage to have this lower left corner square completely empty, as you can see, right? So we will have here a nice big empty space, actually, right? Something like this. All right. So now let's have a look at the few common mistakes. One of them is writing the first line something like this, flat and short. It's not an horizontal line, it's oblique and it's rather long, right? So it goes this way. Another thing, so let's say we managed to write this one correctly, but then we do something like this. This is also wrong because, as I told you, we don't have to, I mean, we shouldn't get into this side with here. So if this one, let's say it's correct, we have to go back a little bit and then think to touch this center and continue on the same circle and end up here, stop here somewhere. So never get into this side, right? Imagine this side is this square here, it's bent, okay, it's bent. And then one more case, let's say again that we managed to write this correctly like this, and then you might see something like this. As I told you, this is one of the rare cases when we have a circle here in hiragana, right? So it's not a hook, it's not an oval, it's almost like a circle, and for this we have to think we want to reach this point here symmetrical towards the middle line. So we go 1 millimeter on the same back on this line, and then want to reach this center, and then we want to reach on the same line this point here, but we just stop on the way here somewhere, right? Okay, and you something like this. Please have this in mind, and now let's try to enjoy the practice for a few minutes together. And now the last letter in this video, To. Okay, so this is To. We start here on a rather high position, right? So here somewhere, and we go down like this, and before reaching this middle horizontal line, we lift the pencil or the pen like this. Okay, the idea is that we want to unite it with the next line, and we start here somewhere very close to the center, touch this point, go a bit more inside, and end up rather flat like this. Okay, let's say this is the center here, so we start at a higher position and make sure that we don't have to touch this line, okay? So, but This one it's rather straight, so we enter like this, but it's rather straight, I would say, and we lift it this way. We lift it this way, right? So not like this or something. We lift it this way because this is like this. So we have to imagine that we come here, put it on the paper, then we go like this. This is almost straight at the beginning, but then it becomes slightly curved. And here, once we reach this point, we necessarily have to touch this point here. Then we have to enter a bit more like this and make a nice curve here. But at the end, we have to end flat, right, like this. And before reaching this vertical line, right, so we stop here, okay, firmly before reaching this. Okay, so once again, let's have a look at it. We find this point, down, up, maybe middle of this point here like this, and then something like this. Maybe it's a bit too big, this one, but the principles are pretty much the same. So let's say this is the center. Okay, so we have to be maybe on the center line, but the higher level here somewhere. We enter like this first, and well, basically, this what we have here is the same with what we have here. So this is a good way to balance the letter, I think. And well, unfortunately here I went a little bit too far down the way, but what you have here, okay, so well, let's make a circle. It's of the same amount maybe with what you have here. Sometimes even this one becomes a bit bigger than this one. And okay, let's see this part, right? So here is, we have to have a nice space like this. Let's make it, right? And for this we need to have a slightly curved part here, then this one curved, and then end like this. Okay, so stay with the line until the end, right? And it's important here after we touch this point to enter a bit more. Okay, so let's say this is like this. Then if you see, we need to enter a bit more here inside the left side. Okay, so maybe 20% at least of this space is inside the left side. Okay, and as you can see here, actually we have space. Well, maybe it's the biggest space outside of the letter. Okay, now let's have a look at the common mistakes. One of them is maybe something like this. This looks like a broken letter, right? It looks broken, so necessarily have these two parts connected. And we'll start here and go a bit more down the way, right? You don't have to touch this line, but make it a bit longer, because if it's longer, then it's easier to touch it with the next line, right? Like this, right? So make this one a bit longer. Okay, and then let's say we managed to write this correctly, long enough, something like this, and then we do something like this, right? This is not a hook. This should be big enough. So this is actually nice until this point, but from this point it looks like we want to finish it like very fast, we kind of run away, but we have to stay with it and slowly go down and finally end up fat like this. Okay, so we need a big space like here. And on the contrary, let's say we had this one, nice, something like this. There are many people writing this one like this. Well, this is not a circle, so it starts here, it goes down, and it enters this side a bit more, and then slowly goes down and ends up flat like this. As you can see, it's not a circle, it's kind of a, let's say, of a round corner of a big triangle, right? Something like this.
Okay, so I hope you liked the explanations in the video and the practice time. Remember that this video is just one in a collection of videos trying to explain in detail each letter of the hiragana alphabet. You can check other videos in the collections. You can find it on my YouTube channel if you are interested in any other letters. Next, we will cover another 5 letters of the hiragana alphabet, which are na, ni, nu, ne, no. And there will be also other content, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and hope to see you in the next video.